Topside, I may have something here. But you're not going to believe this. I got brass everywhere. Pocket is filled with this stuff. I got it all over here.
Brass nails, that's in Feversham.
The brass farm down here. I got them all over here.
It's known as the Death Coast, an area of rough sea in the North Atlantic that's claimed more than 6,000 vessels, casting those aboard and treasure into its turbulent depths.
We gotta turn this thing around. Here we go.
Gold, silver, and other priceless objects from the wrecked ships
Oh my God, you're not going to believe this.
lie scattered across the ocean floor.
Gold coin right there.
That is gorgeous.
But salvaging here has been banned for more than a decade, thanks to rampant looting. Now,
Storm is brewing. Whoa, boy!
after a long battle, third-generation shipwreck hunter Jeff MacKinnon has won the exclusive rights to dive in these treacherous waters. But he only has 8 weeks to do it.
Are you okay?
Can Jeff and his team find the treasure he seeks
Find me something.
before the stormy waters of the Death Coast
It's time for us to get out of here.
make diving impossible? At their headquarters in Louisburg, Nova Scotia, Jeff meets with his team to decide their next move. They have spent the last 10 days diving on the French shipwreck, the Chameau.
Now, we've been on the Chameau for about 10 days now. We've made some good recovery, but the weather is starting to change. It's getting worse. No, I got a problem. I am limited in time.
With only a few weeks left in the dive season, the team needs to decide whether they double down on the site or move on to one of the 5 other shipwreck sites.
You know, we've had a lot of good recovery on the Chameau in the past several dives. We got a coin.
Topside, I found something.
That's beautiful. A god coin.
Following the discovery of the coin, the team then finds a piece of silverware.
That's Chameau silver.
Is it? Well, it's down there then.
But then, the team unearths a find that changes the direction of the search.
Check that out.
Holy It's an American coin.
But the search for a possible American pay ship in the same area has so far come up empty.
So,
We got nothing.
With the Chameau site seemingly at a standstill, Jeff is considering moving on to a new site, the Feversham, a British ship that sank in 1711 off the coast of Scatarie Island. The 32-gun frigate was 107 feet long, 28 feet wide, and was carrying 500 pounds in New England coins. These coins can be worth up to $100,000 today. Enough of a payday to force Jeff and the team to decide if they stay on the Chameau or move on to the Feversham.
Everything in my body wants me to stay at Chameau. I don't want to leave there. I don't. But you guys see what we're up against here. You see the weather, you see the conditions. So I'm just wondering what you guys would like to do here. And I'm open to debate, as long as I get the last say.
My thought is that Chameau is a huge, huge area. My position, you're limited for time. Feversham, and it's a very, very compact site. And I think that's a great spot to work because we can probably get a lot of recovery right there very quickly.
You're right, it is compact. It's a good site to work. What do you think, Dan?
At the new section of the Chameau site, there could be a wreck on top of a wreck, and we're just starting to find stuff there.
Yeah, I'd like to go back to the Chameau. We've got an 1838 U.S. coin and a 1721 French coin. All those things add up to there's more than one wreck there, maybe more than that.
But Mike, you've pointed out that we've already got a lot of important finds from the Chameau. So I think we should move to the Feversham.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you.
We also have a logistic issue here, though. We're steaming now from Lewisburg, all the way up here to the Chameau. We've got to go another at least half that distance to get over to Feversham. That's taking 2 hours of our day out of diving. So we got to make sure it's worth it.
That's the $64,000 question. Is it worth it? And I personally think it is.
Let's see what we can get done today.
Later that morning,
We're at 11 fathom here.
I got the track on.
Jeff and his team make the long trip north towards the Feversham site at Scatarie Island. With the clock ticking, they're gambling that a smaller site will make the recovery process faster.
Just about 10 minutes straight ahead. Almost there.
On October 7, 1711, while sailing from New York up the Atlantic coast to support the British invasion of the French colony Quebec, the Feversham and her convoy ships, the Mary, the Joseph, and the Neptune, are driven into the coast of Scatarie Island by a gale. The Feversham sinks just off the coast. The 3 other convoy ships suffer the same fate. A month later, New York's Governor Robert Hunter reported that only 48 of the 150 sailors aboard the Feversham survived.
Hey, we're almost to Scatarie Island.
As the easternmost point of Cape Breton, Scatarie is constantly pummeled by the Labrador Current, a cold southward flowing current that originates in the Arctic. Jeff's hoping that these same currents over the years may have done him a favor.
The Feversham is my next target. I want to hit that hard. Anything small like coins from the Feversham would have been carried to the west and pushed into the shore away from the wreck site. But diving in that area, it's going to be dangerous. Welcome to Scatarie.
Before mooring, Jeff needs to make sure their boat, the Family Run, doesn't meet the same fate as so many others along the Death Coast.
There's a sunker right here, so stay away from that. That bell buoy's marking it. The sunker is an underwater feature. It's either an outcropping of bedrock or an actual giant boulder sitting just under the water surface, so you can't see it.
The Feversham is surrounded by 3 major sunkers: the Cape Breton, the Little Sunker, and the Western Breakers. Jeff needs to ensure his boat is moored far enough away from the rocks to avoid being pulled into them.
Yep. Yep.
Here we go.
So basically what you got here, there's the sunker, and on the inside of that is the wall of the island. You know, they're 2 very prominent features. You'll see them no problem. And what I want you to do is go down, get yourself acclimated, have a good look around. Go get me something good.
All right.
As the divers embark on their first Feversham dive, Jeff keeps a close eye on the conditions. This close to the rocks, they're diving in shallower and more dangerous waters than before.
Unlike the Chameau site, Scatarie is unprotected. Every inch of Scatarie is dangerous.
Topside, this is Griego, radio check, over.
This is topside, Griego. I hear you loud as
Sunday.
Conditions down here look pretty kelpy.
Yes, here to topside. We are on the bottom, and we've got our good friend Kelp still all over the place here.
The divers are looking for coins or any small artifacts that may have been carried west by the current.
Nothing's easy in this world.
Off the topside, I have a hit. I will be attempting to
recover, over.
Talk to me here, fellas. What do you got?
I may have something here.
What do you think it is?
Topside, I have recovered an artifact, over. I may have something here.
What do you think it is?
While searching off the coast of Cape Breton, Nova Scotia for British shipwreck the Feversham, diver Mike Haas has located what he thinks may be a piece of the wreck.
Topside, I have recovered an artifact, over.
If it's something good, bring it up.
If it is from the Feversham, it could prove Jeff's theory that small items like coins and other treasures may have been pushed over the years by the current toward nearby Scatarie Island.
Bringing it up.
Diver up! Somebody got a smile on their face. What do you got for me? Oh boy.
What do you got?
I got a sword pommel, and it looks like it is copper, but it almost got a little bit of gold on it. Look, it had gold filigree. See the gold? Look.
So an officer's sword, maybe?
Could have been, or a dagger. God, that's nice. The fact that this artifact is damaged like this tells me that it's been dragged across the bottom of the sea. It must have been pounded against the rocks. Yeah, have a look.
It's been badly banged around. Right now, in its condition, it's hard really to say much.
Yeah.
So this part here would be threaded and be screwed into the end of the
End of the handle. This right here would be the pommel. This would be the decorative finial at the end of the sword. That is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Good job. This pommel is an important find. It's gold gilded. That means it could be somebody important who owned it. We got to get back in there and get some more.
Yeah.
Encouraged by the find, and with the weather holding steady, Jeff immediately sends the dive team back down, and even closer to the rocks.
If this sword pommel is this close into shore, that means there's probably coins here too. If the current is pushing artifacts and coins past the wreck site, then eventually they're going to get hung up on something.
Not seeing anything yet.
You've got the natural topography of the bottom. Your first inclination is to find a crack or a cannon where a coin will get stuck. Think like a coin. Gold is heavy, it sinks. Wind's picking up a little.
Just 10 minutes into the dive, the weather takes a turn for the worse.
Well, here we go again. Wind. A southwest wind comes straight up the coastline. It creates big, unmanageable waves, and when the current picks up, it gets way worse. Southwest winds.
The worst kind.
The only kind. We have to take our time and make sure this is done very safely.
The combination of high wind and high tide make conditions on the seafloor especially dangerous.
Topside, we have a problem. Current is intense.
Copy that. Griego. Do you read me? Over.
Topside, I can hear you. I am inside and fighting the current in here. I can't talk right now.
Copy that.
Unbeknownst to Jeff, the divers make the decision to abandon the search and return to the surface.
We got a diver up here on the surface.
What is going on here?
Across the topside, I am surfacing, over.
I said, who's on the surface there?
That's PZO, he just got in.
We're gonna have a little talk with him when he comes up.
Though safety is the top priority, Jeff knows that every minute of every dive is precious, especially when it takes 2 hours just to get to the site from their headquarters in Lewisburg.
What the hell happened out there?
Conditions were really bumpy. We were getting pushed around, in and out. We had a lot of surge, hanging on to kelp, trying to dig holes. We were getting beat up pretty good. We had a beautiful forecast and a beautiful morning, and it really turned around on us.
Yeah.
And we came up to this. It got real rough real quick.
We can't keep losing dive days. This place ain't gonna beat us.
As the wind continues to pick up, the team pulls anchor and starts the long journey back to Lewisburg.
This is what happens with a southwest wind out here. It creates huge swells. Everything gets pushed towards the shore, and I mean everything. That means that anything that floats needs to be away from the rocks. That's the safest bet. This is just a taste. This weather here, in a couple of weeks' time, this is going to get real bad.
The next day, Jeff is back at the Feversham site, but not with his divers. Jeff is instead accompanied by Ryan Howlett from engineering firm McElhenney.
Keep going up a little, up.
His hope is that their cutting-edge sonar mapping technology will find structures on the seafloor at the Feversham site.
Pull out a little.
With this survey, they'll get an up-to-date three-dimensional picture of conditions on the bottom.
Aim for that crack in the...
Right there, that point.
The problem with this area is that it's covered in kelp, and it makes it nearly impossible to see the cuts and the grooves where the smaller items would get caught.
Are you seeing any prominent features, Ryan?
Lots of grooves on these rocks. Hard to tell as we're cutting across here. We'll have to check it out and post-processing for sure.
But Jeff is taking a risk. To do the survey, he is sacrificing a dive day.
My time is very precious this season. Having this survey done cuts my time in half. It's going to help me find the spots that I need to dive. While Jeff continues the survey over at the Feversham site along Nova Scotia's Death Coast.
Are you seeing any prominent features, Ryan?
We got tide coming in. Let's do one more pass along the shore.
Team archaeologist Jim Sinclair meets with Matt Easton, an ancient weapons expert who consults with the Royal Armouries Museum in England to determine if the sword pommel found earlier at the site could be linked to the British wreck.
Hi, Matt. We found an object we think you can probably help us with.
Absolutely. I'm happy that I can help.
Our team's been diving on an area where a convoy of ships went down in 1711, and we recovered an object that we're wondering would have come from the lead ship, the Feversham, or possibly one of the others. It's a lovely little piece. What do you think it is?
Basically, the two options of things it could be is a pommel for a dagger or a pommel for a sword. But I think it's probably a sword given the size. Around this time, around 1711, there's a particular type of sword that we're going to be looking at, which is known as the small sword. And this is the sort of archetypal gentleman's sword of this period. And to me, that looks like a small sword pommel. So I've got some examples here I can show you.
I would love to see them.
So this is a silver-hilted example, and this is English. The type of blade, you'll notice it's very slender.
Wow.
It's a thrusting blade, so it's actually triangular cross-section. Obviously, you don't have that part, you've only got the pommel. But these are thrusting swords, and these were used for dueling, and then this is the pommel. The pommel there is essentially a balance, so it's there to form a counterbalance to the blade, which means that you can be very nimble with the tip and have a lot of control of that tip when you're fighting.
So, Matt, is your opinion then that this would be from a small sword or a dagger of one of the British officers that were on board?
I think with 90% certainty, given that the historical context of where this was found, it's very, very likely that this is a British officer's small sword.
The Feversham was the only royal ship in the convoy, and that's where most of the officers would have been. If the current pushed this pommel in towards the coast, there's no telling what else got pushed in there with it.
Back at their headquarters in Lewisburg, Jeff and diver Mike Haas sit down with Graham Christie from McElhenney to go over the early data they received from the survey.
How you doing, Graham?
Great, Jeff. How are you?
Graham Christie is a hydrographic surveyor. He measures and maps underwater surfaces to analyze the seabed. Jeff is hoping he can identify targets for the team to dive.
So I got your message. You said you got something for me. What is it?
We're looking for places where these artifacts and other items might collect. And the best place for those, from what I understand, is sort of in the bottom of little collection bowls or troughs.
Yeah.
This is kind of the best look that we can get, looking right through that kelp and being able to see the bottom as it is. Right here, this is a connection between a north-south and an east-west that could potentially be a great spot for things to collect.
If you don't mind, can you spin that a little bit? Yeah, there, stop. See that?
Yep.
That's the kind of thing that we're looking for. Just like that.
That's about 6.5, 7 feet deep down in the bottom of that cut right there.
What's the width?
10, 12 feet across at the top.
That's what you're looking for. The narrow at the bottom, it's a natural catch-all that Mother Nature put there. And anything that could get caught in there is still going to be in there.
Yeah.
I'm liking the idea of going in these cuts. It gets us out of the current that we're seeing down there, which is pretty severe. It has been pretty severe. It looks like a great area to go take a look-see.
All right, pal. Thanks very much.
With good weather, Jeff and the team head to the new Feversham target identified in the survey.
It's an area that we've never been. So what I want you to do is go down your main pennant line, make a 10-foot swath, and then work your way in a westerly direction while we got this good wind.
All right.
And that's it. Let's go.
Jeff is sending the divers to the cuts revealed in the 3D maps from the scan. The team is optimistic this could be where some of the ship's treasure has come to rest. But it will take them closer to shore and danger.
Off the top side, radio check. Are you receiving? Over.
I read you loud and clear, Haas. You guys go to the bottom and cling to it. Dive time.
10:52.
This is Pizio, Rigo on the bottom, 40 feet of water.
Copy that. Start your search.
Once underwater, the divers have to pinpoint the exact location of the cuts. But this close to shore, heavy surf and the strong current make for poor visibility.
I can't see.
10 minutes into the dive, they find an access point to the canyon formed by the cuts.
We have a lot of rocks, a lot of structure, big, high, dramatic cliffs on both sides of us.
The cliff forms a wall that blocks the current and catches materials like sand and small rocks at its base. A potentially perfect hiding place for shipwrecked treasure.
Off the top side, I am right at the rock, and I will be attempting to excavate a good hit. Over.
Copy that.
Top side, I have something. I believe I have a coin.
You say a coin?
While diving off the coast of Scatarie Island at the site of the Feversham,
You may have something here.
diver Mike Haas has uncovered an object.
Top side, I believe I have a coin.
He said a coin.
That's what I heard.
Could you bring it up with you when you're coming, please?
This is Griego surfacing. I am low on air. Once you get it there, Dave, you're going to be in the current.
With the wind picking up, so too is the current that runs east to west along the island. The chase boats have to relocate to pick up the divers before they're swept into the rocks.
Diver up, diver up. There's Dan. He's up.
10-4, he's getting with the okay.
Pizio and Haas are leaving bottom.
2 divers up.
Yeah, I see him.
What do you make of that?
That's what happens when you leave stuff on the bottom. That's
Catch the light just right. Sometimes you can almost see like a shield or something, but it's beat the balls.
Can't see anything. I see something there, but it looks like an 8. It's just beat. Aaron, tell me what you think.
Honestly, it is so beaten until we get it back, and I don't even know how much cleaning we can do on it.
I can stabilize it, that's about it.
Right now, it's possibly a coin.
I think it is a coin, and I've seen the planchettes, the New England coins, that big.
Yeah.
But not in that shape. That's a sin. New England coins from the Feversham site are very valuable, and there's still a lot of them out here. And if this coin that we found is one of them, then we might have found them all.
Back at the lab, Jeff and Aaron take a look at the coin the divers recovered from the Feversham site, hopeful they can clean it up enough to identify it.
Ugh.
Yeah, in rough shape.
Let me see what we can do.
Jeff is using a process called an electrolytic bath. An electrical charge is used to help remove debris, revealing any identifiable markings.
Oh, I see bubbles. It's quick, it's dependable, and it's not going to hurt the object.
After 20 minutes, the coin is ready to be examined.
You'd make anything up.
There's nothing left of this. It's an absolute slug. So that sucks. You know, to put it into perspective, take a look at that coins there and then look at this. These are the coins the dad was recovering 25, 30 years ago.
Oh my God. In that little amount of time. What a shame.
It's obvious that this coin is in bad shape, but it does tell me one thing. It tells me that the flow of wreckage is pushing down from the Feversham site to the target area. And if it's anything like the coins my father found, that means it could be valuable and there could be a lot more of them.
As a new day dawns in Lewisburg, team archaeologist Jim Sinclair meets with coin expert Doug Mudd. Doug is a longtime consultant for the Smithsonian Institute and International Monetary Fund. Their mission: determine the country of origin for the coin the team found the previous day.
Any insight you can give us, we'd really appreciate.
Okay, yeah. If it's a New England coin, it could mean the area they're diving holds the rest of the Feversham's treasure trove.
Okay, it looks silver to me. To me, that suggests it could be Spanish silver, because that's the most common material we'd see out there, but maybe something else. Let's take a little closer look here. Okay, I'm looking at it, and there's really not a lot of detail that's left. Been basically smoothed out by the ocean. Look how thin that is. It's
like a razor blade almost.
Yeah. It's interesting because if this is Spanish silver, I expect them to be a lot thicker. Could be something much more rare than that. Based on the size and the thickness, I'm wondering if this could be Massachusetts piece.
Wow.
It makes sense because they follow the story. The Feversham was carrying some Massachusetts silver. We know in the past they found them, but this may be more of it.
In 1649, following the beheading of King Charles, the cash-strapped colonial government of Massachusetts orders the production of its own money. In 1711, as the Feversham is being loaded for voyage, these coins make up a large portion of the Feversham's pay chest. Eventually, with the return to power of the monarchy, New England coins are outlawed, making them very rare.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think the next step is to weigh this, because if this is too heavy, it suggests it might be Spanish, because the Spanish coins tend to be larger and heavier. Right. But if it's lighter, that might help us prove it might be Massachusetts silver.
Well, that would be exciting. Let's take a look.
After recovering a badly worn coin at the Feversham wreck site, team archaeologist Jim Sinclair and coin expert Doug Mudd are attempting to determine its origin.
Very interesting.
Depending on its weight, it could be from a cache of the rarest and most valuable American coins in existence.
So let's take a look.
Let's check it out.
Look at this, 4.3 grams. So this is missing at least 0.3, 0.4 grams of weight. That suggests that this could be Massachusetts silver.
Wow.
The fact that this is 4.3 and it's as worn as it is, that tells us that this easily could be one of those. So that's very exciting to me.
So what would the value of this have been?
Well, at the time, these coins were the shilling, so this would have been something like 2 or 3 days worth of pay for the average person. So this is significant value, $100, $200 today. Now, as a collector's item, if this was in great shape, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars for one of these.
Wow. And the fact that there may be still more out there to find, hopefully in better condition, and that gives us something to search for on the Feversham.
Armed with this new information, Jeff meets with the team to plan the next dive.
This bathymetric survey has proven to be well worth its weight in gold. And these cuts have definitely been proving out. This coin, you know, even though it's a sin that it's been beat to death, it proves my point that the current is picking these items up and pushing them closer to the island.
Where did you find that?
So that coin was found on the western edge of these cuts that are in here.
If we keep moving west, at least theoretically speaking, we know there's other wrecks in there, like the Mary, the Joseph, and the Neptune.
I really need to start heading down towards that western breaker, because it almost forms a natural catch-all.
It also forms a hell of a break zone right there. We're going to get beat up pretty good in that area. We'll be diving in the break zone.
A break zone is the section of water nearest the shore. As waves approach, they collide with the ocean floor, getting taller, steeper, and more dangerous.
It is a rough spot, Mike, I'll give you that. You're right. And that's why it's never been searched before. That's why we're going to be the first ones to do it. You got to get down and dirty, and the only way we're going to find out is if you go down there and have a look.
Later that morning, the team heads out to Scatarie Island.
That's where I want to go.
Usually coming through this strip, I take the autopilot off and steer by hand because there's so many friggin' rocks and stuff, and sometimes you can't see them.
Their plan, to keep moving west with the current, to search for items from the Feversham wreck.
Okay, guys, we're coming up on Scatarie Island.
You see that, Johnny?
Yes.
On the other side of the ragged rocks. That's where I want to go. That's the western breaker.
Jeff's plan for diving in the break zone is to take advantage of a short period of calm, referred to as slack tide.
Hey, Johnny, when's low?
Slack tide in about 10 minutes.
Slack tide is the transition period between high and low tide, where it becomes like a bathtub. It is nice. It's a window of opportunity for about an hour, but then, bam-o, she's going in the other direction again. It's a bathtub. Now, just pretend you're in a bathtub with coins in it.
They're rubber duckies, eh?
Coins, please, not toys. Now you be careful in there.
Hey, I'm gonna move over to the right so I'm a little bit away from you guys.
Let's move slowly.
With precisely 1 hour to search, the dive team makes their descent, working westward along the shoreline.
Let's head that way. Pizio, lead the way. Off the top side, I'll be attempting to take up a hit. Over.
Dig up that hit, Mike Haas. I can't be without a hit today.
Izio's gonna hit.
Bullshit.
May have something here.
While searching the jagged coast of Scatarie Island, both divers, Mike Pizzio and Mike Haas, finally get hits on their metal detector.
May have something here. This is a top side. I just worked a hot spot, but I think it's just hot rock.
Disregard, find me something else, please.
Off the top side, the appears to be a piece of modern iron. Over.
Keep searching. Move yourself into shore. Move yourself all over the place. It's a bathtub.
The calm conditions allow the divers to move quickly and cover more ground.
Topside, this is Pizzio. This is really nice down here.
But after 30 minutes, there's still no sign of anything that might be from the Feversham.
Slack tide is a beautiful time, where I don't have to worry about divers getting picked up and thrown into the rocks. But we are running out of time. Johnny?
Yes.
11:06.
Roger that.
The tide is going to change here real soon, and when it does, I'm going to have to pull them out. So if they're going to find something down here, they better do it quick.
Mr. Griego, I have another hit. Negative topside, it's modern.
With only 10 minutes left in the slack tide, Mike Pizzio gets another hit.
Topside, I may have something here. You're not going to believe this. I got brass everywhere. Pocket is filled with this stuff. I got it all over here.
Brass nails, that's Feversham.
The brass farm down here. There's nails everywhere. Bronze pins. I got them all over here.
Bring them up, pal.
I'm low on air for digging. But this is a very productive spot.
Hey, I can shoot my bag here at emergency site if you like.
Yeah, shoot the bag, shoot the bag, shoot the bag.
This right area where I'm at right now is very hot. A lot of stuff here. It's only 15 feet.
Brass pins were essential to the ship's construction, holding together key components of its framework. Larger colonial-era ships would contain thousands of them.
Pins are an excellent indication of a shipwreck, and these pins could be exactly the type of pins that have been pulled off of the Feversham over the years. Hey, Pizzio, this is topside. With the tide the way it is, I'd like you to hurry up.
Pizzio's leaving bottom. I'm blowing air.
With air running low and the short window of the slack tide closing, the divers abandon the new hotspot and return to the surface.
You like this?
What is it? What you find?
All kinds of stuff.
Whoa! That's the stuff.
All these are from the same area. Like,
yeah, but something's different about this. This doesn't even look like the stuff that was coming off Feversham.
this stuff was just laying on the surface of the sand, and then these nails, there's just piles of these laying there.
See this, Aaron? That's Feversham. See the red brass? The high copper content in it? This is not Feversham. This is something else. I don't know what it is. All of this stuff came from something else. The Feversham brass has always had a reddish tint to it. They call it red brass. This other brass that's intermingled with the Feversham brass, that's another ship entirely.
These ship's fasteners then.
These are definitely ship's fasteners.
Yeah, and these bends are evidence of a violent
they're indicative,
violent
100%.
end to the ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
So even stuff like this can tell a story.
All this stuff can.
Yeah.
take a pin or a nail like this and try to break it. You can't. Mother Nature did this.
Yeah. Imagine what it takes to bend that, like that.
Good job, guys.
That's fantastic, guys.
The red pins are further evidence that artifacts from the Feversham may have been pushed closer to the shore. But the green pins present another mystery. Could they be from one of the other undiscovered shipwrecks from the ill-fated convoy? And if so, what secrets and treasures might still lie hidden beneath the waves? Next, on the Death Coast.
You boys, be careful down there now.
The team's search for the Feversham convoy takes them further west.
Keep searching. Hurry up, though.
And closer to danger.
This current is going to push us into the rocks.
The rocks! Get them away from the rocks!
And with a storm on the horizon.
Storm is brewing. Whoa, boy!
A series of mysterious artifacts.
I don't know what that is.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Leads to a major breakthrough.
Oh, what do you got? Look, that's what I was talking about right there. You can see it. Look at it right there. We gotta get more. We gotta get more.